Hey, Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja and Basement Ninja, and I just wanted to share a story that I had with a gentleman down near Chattanooga, and this is one of our Buyer Beware series, so stay tuned. Okay, so I recently got a call from a gentleman, and believe it or not, he actually had us come out to his home and give him an estimate about a year ago for addressing standing water, encapsulation. He wasn't sure if he had mold or not, and all these things. And of course, we gave him a price, followed up, didn't get anything. Then he called us back out after he had paid another company that charged less money to do less work to fix the crawl space. Now, he called us for advice on what he should do. Apparently, he is still getting a musty smell, and just so you know, anytime someone describes a musty odor, that typically could mean a wet odor, but most of the time it means a moldy odor, something from mold. Well, he had called the company to come out and take a look at his crawl space, and number one, they didn't do anything for mold. As a matter of fact, they told him that if he would squirt the joists with a mold disinfectant, that they would wipe it off in a couple of places that they saw mold, okay? So I'll get into that in a minute. So they went out there, they encapsulated his crawl space, they didn't insulate his crawl space. He has no insulation, never had insulation. Now keep in mind, people will only do what you pay them to do. I get that. So maybe he didn't want insulation. He's got high humidity. He had high humidity in the crawl space. They didn't put in any kind of active ventilation to take the soil gases out of the crawl space like we do, of course. And most companies never even heard of it until they started watching our videos. But anyway, so he's getting this musty smell, and he's saying over the time from they installed their system until now, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So he called me up, and of course he thanked me for my time and everything, but he wanted to know what he could do about this musty smell. So he started telling me about this problem where the company, they didn't do anything with mold. Okay, apparently they're plastic jockeys. They just throw plastic down, shoved a dehumidifier in there, and went on their way. Well, of course that's cheaper. Whenever you're talking about us doing foam board insulation, remediating mold, soda blasting, active ventilation system. He also needed a sump pump and a trench, which they told him they didn't think that he needed. I believe that's what they said. So whenever you compare our system to, you know, plastic jockeys, which is just plastic and dehu, we're always going to be more expensive. So he called the company. They came out there. He told them what was going on. And you know what they told him? They told him that it was because of his dehu filter. They said his whole house was stinking like mold, musty smell, because his dehu filter needed to be cleaned and changed. 99% sure, he said, that's what they told him the problem was. So, okay, so they did that, didn't fix it. So here's the other thing they told him. This is why you have to be careful who you hire. They told him that if he would go buy Concrobium, which is available at Lowe's and Home Depot, and he would spray it on the joists, they would wipe off certain areas where they saw the visible mold. Now here's the problem. All right, Concrobium works, the best I understand, by drying. It has to dry in order to kill the mold. It actually crushes the mold as it dries, which is why we don't use it. Okay, it's not really designed, in my opinion, for a wet area. Now, if you got drywall in your house that's maybe got some mold or something like that, it might work. But if you spray it in that wet shower, it's going to do nothing. It has to dry to work, which is why we use a peroxide-based cleaner. So he went out and bought Concrobium and sprayed it all over the joist. Well, they didn't dry the crawl space out first. He did that first. Then they put in the dehumidifier and wiped it down. So it never worked because however long it was before they put it in, it didn't work. The crawl space has to be dry. The humidity has to be low. The wood moisture level has to have time to dry out. Remember, if you hire a company that doesn't know anything about mold remediation, they're just we got competitors all over all of our markets that they will encapsulate a crawl space and remediate mold in the same day. In the same day. If you're in a situation where you're growing mold, the wood moisture level is high and the humidity is high. You have to dry the crawl space and the wood moisture level out before addressing mold. Now, he didn't have insulation, but I guarantee you if he did, they wouldn't have told him to even remove the insulation. You've got to get that out of there too. So anyway, I get it. We're more expensive. I understand that. We're more of an investment though, wouldn't you say? Because now he's got another problem. If he's got a mold problem and he wants us to fix it, we will soda blast it and we will apply the disinfectant and protectant and ruin all of that plastic that he put in because of how we have to do it. We're gonna crawl all over it. We're gonna destroy the tape seams. We're gonna get soda everywhere. So now it's cart before the horse, right? So you need to take care of the mold before you take care of the plastic. If you got a bunch of crawl space plastic jockey companies coming to your house and talking bad about us because we're so expensive, chances are that they aren't doing the work properly. And if they're telling you to do the mold yourself, do you know how to take care of mold? We go to school to learn how to take care of mold. There's a mold protocol that you're supposed to follow. And I get it, some of you are DIYers and some of you are doing it yourself, but you still gotta dry the space out. It doesn't matter if you're remediating mold in your attic, your basement, your crawl space, living space, whatever, you gotta lower the humidity and dry the space out. And I'm sorry if I seem agitated, but it really gets on my nerves whenever we lose a job because of price. And it's because really we're doing 10 times more work than anybody else. So buyer beware, don't hire people based on price. My name is Michael Church with Crawl Space Ninja and Basement Ninja, and I hope you make it a happy and blessed day. We'll see you later.